likelihood there's going to be the Taliban overrunning everything and owning the whole country is highly unlikely.
It appears as though a bunch of austere scholars have put Afghanistan back on the road to peace. 2 decades and $1 trillion later, it took the Taliban just over a week to take it all back. This after Biden repeatedly assured us that the fighting force that survived 20 years in the crosshairs of the world's most well-funded military wasn't going to retake Afghanistan.
Is a Taliban takeover of Afghanistan now inevitable?
No, it is not. Because you have the Afghan troops have 300,000 well-equipped as any army in the world.
As good as any army in the world? Fucking Toy Story Lego army would have put up more resistance. But rest assured, we can trust a guy who gets lost in bushes to safely evacuate Americans from Kabul.
This is not a full evacuation.
Really? Kinda looks like one. January 2021. America is back. August 2021. Taliban, please don't touch the embassy, we'll pay you. But don't blame the national security establishment, because to be fair, how could they ever have seen it coming? Deep state mouthpieces really aren't taking it too well. Take Jennifer Caffarella, for example. National Security Fellow at the Institute for the Study of War, a major US think tank. It's a very dark day in Afghanistan. Take care of yourself. It might require avoiding the news. Even that can be excruciating, I know. We can and should bear witness, but it does not require self-harm. Triggering PTSD symptoms or new trauma does not help Afghans. My DMs are open. Big cope. She then urges everyone not to share images or links to images that are likely to cause trauma, such as the fall of Kabul or anything Saigon-like. Imagine devoting your entire career to cheerleading for war, death and destruction. Then when it doesn't quite go your way, crying on Twitter about it. No, please don't show me the pictures! 75,000 dead civilians, 2 decades of US troops coming home in body bags, sacrificing America's global reputation on the blood-soaked altar of the military-industrial complex. That didn't seem to faze them, but the Taliban being successful in presiding over a fiery but mostly peaceful transfer of power. No, stop! Can't handle it! This bitch has the nerve to complain about PTSD over seeing some tweets, having campaigned for invasions that crippled an entire generation of young men with debilitating, life-ruining, actual PTSD. This national security establishment created the Taliban in the first place, exploited 9/11 as a false pretext to invade Afghanistan when Bin Laden wasn't even in Afghanistan, stayed there for 10 years after the death of Bin Laden for no other apparent fucking reason than protecting the CIA's control of the opium trade.
Why are American troops now helping Afghan farmers grow that opium?
Turned the place into a hellhole failed narco state. And when it all collapses into dust, they turn round and say, oh no, don't watch the news. The Taliban is banning the corona vaccine in each new territory that it reconquers. Oh no. Quick, send the troops back in. But hey, at least they wore masks. Surely there's still time to stop the Taliban with some kind of stern hashtag campaign. Surely we can fight back with some kind of Instagram influencer infographic explainathon. Come to think of it, I know the perfect candidate.
One sec. Democracy's calling.
Hi, my name is Cooper, and this is a day in my life as a White House intern.
We did a joke. Hey, everyone.
You mean to say the LGBT flag won't be flying over the Kabul embassy? Quick, time to blame the Taliban for another terror attack that was actually carried out by one of America's most loyal allies. Maybe if we paint the trans colours on some GPS-guided missiles, then the Taliban might listen. Time to send working-class British and American kids back in to get blown limb from limb. I mean, surely it's worth it just so Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris can feel good about the treatment of women in Kandahar. Time to feed another generation into the meat grinder, just so Tony Blair can pat himself on the back because a school got built. Time to assuage our colonial guilt by throwing open our borders to cells of jihadist migrants because women's rights and shit. Time to create another generation of PTSD-plagued suicide victims so neolibs and neocons can virtue signal about bringing universal suffrage to the Middle East.
So would you believe in the democratic vote, though? So would people be allowed to vote in women politicians?
Afghan women forced from banking jobs as Taliban take control. Oh no, not the precious banking jobs! Time for another invasion. And where's the resistance to the Taliban from the Afghans themselves? Bit rude to show such a lack of appreciation for the 7,000 bombs we've been dropping on their country every single year. The Pope has called for peace in Afghanistan. Yeah, thanks for that stunning contribution, Francis. Now get ready to start washing more feet, because Afghanistan's crisis will soon be Europe's too. I really don't see what the problem is. Now, once again, we get to enjoy the wonderful diversity that hundreds of thousands more refugees will bring to the continent. Can't wait for that. A diplomat in Kabul told Politico, when the numbers are high enough, nothing can stop them, not even tanks. Great, so everything that happened after the 2015 influx, the mass molestation in Cologne, soaring violent crime and sexual assaults, multiple mass casualty terror attacks, is at risk of happening once again. Refugees welcome! You're starting to think that maybe, just maybe, we should never have got involved with any of these conflicts in the first place.
It's our belief that one day Mujahideen will have victory and Islamic law will come not to just Afghanistan, but all over the world.
France, Holland, Germany and other countries have announced a halt on the deportation of Afghan refugees whose asylum claims were rejected. The kind of upstanding citizens who were defended by refugees welcome activists like Ellen Erson, the Swedish woman who stopped a plane to prevent the deportation of one such individual. Now granted, the migrant she attempted to save may have been convicted for trying to strangle his wife and kids with an electrical cord, but surely he was just the exception that proves the rule. Many of these migrants have already been arriving on England's south coast in record numbers for months, thanks to Britain giving them a de facto taxi service and putting them up in 4-star hotels. Well, time to cancel those Hilton reservations because it looks like it's going to be a busy end to the summer.